Right, do I just go? Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joey, and I am a nerd. Here's some exhibit. Exhibit A, presenting something at an academic function for my school. Exhibit B, Model United Nations. Exhibit C, creative writing summer camp. So as nerdy as it gets. And when you're a nerd, you also end up making some very questionable fashion choices in school, such as this. I'm wearing my pajamas to MC my high school graduation, and also giving myself a bowl cut because I didn't like that I was having hair in my eyes. So I'd like to think I'm a bit of an authority when it comes to being a nerd. And today, as a nerd, I want to talk about why social dancing is good for a nerd. Now, you might be wondering what social dancing is. Social dancing is basically when a group of people who enjoy a certain type of dance get together, play some music, and dance with each other. It's not a competition, it's more about participation. It's also not being out at Epic Club at midnight trying to get lucky. It's about participation, it's about the music, it's about enjoying the dance that you do. A typical social dance night consists of a lesson to start off with. Maybe for absolute beginners as well, you also have like an introduction lesson, and then the DJ plays songs and you switch partners to dance with throughout the night. You might also have big parties and big events every couple of months, but usually you have what's just called like a social night once or twice a week. Some of the popular types of social dance that I've done, salsa is probably the most famous one. Hustle is kind of hip hop / disco music. But the main type of dance that I do nowadays is called swing dance, which is the kind of dance you do to jazz music. So think like Great Gatsby, 1920s, and people dress up as well. So the 10 reasons why social dance is good for nerds. Firstly, it's a structured social setting. You get the lesson, and then you get the social, where you get to switch partners every song. So if you're feeling awkward about the first partner you're dancing with, you only have to make small talk with them for about 3 minutes, and then you can go and be awkward with someone else. A second reason is that when you go to social dance, you get to meet all kinds of different people from all walks of life, people of different age, gender, people who are more nerdy than you, believe it or not, people who are less nerdy than you, people who are nerdy about other things as well. So some of the wonderful people that I've met through all my years of social dancing have included a country director for a famous airline, a doctor, someone who runs her own ice cream shop, so she makes her own different ice cream flavors, computer programmers, and last but not least, my fiance. So when you go social dance, you meet all these wonderful different people. You also get a chance to explore different places while traveling. It's almost like church. When you go to a different city, you look for the kind of dance that you do. So these are some of the swing dance scenes that you can get in Vietnam, in Thailand, and also in Singapore. So I've been to all these places. Every time I'm on a work trip or just my leisure trip, I go there instead of going to a bar and getting drunk alone by myself. You also have these big dance festivals, which is basically Comic-Con for dancers. So they fly in teachers, they fly in famous bands from abroad, they go to this nice big venue. So you've got like a theme costume party. You've also got teachers doing a little performance and concerts. Now, obviously right now it's difficult to go abroad for social dance. So within Phnom Penh, we've got a little swing dance group called Phnom Penh Swing. We've been on break for the last couple of months because of COVID, but now we're back, just like Nerd Night. We're dancing at Azure every Wednesdays from 8 o'clock, so hope to see you there after this talk. Another reason why social dance is good for nerds is that it's a contact sport. So this is our very first lesson at Phnom Penh Swing, and people who are strangers are already making physical contact with each other. So that's good for nerds who might be a bit awkward and shy about these things, especially in Asia where people have a bit of distance. Now, if you're worried about COVID, a lot of scenes now have things like hand sanitizers and sign-up forms and a lot of safety precautions for that. And when you break this contact barrier, it leads to healthy relationships as well, because that's me dancing with my fiance, but it's also completely normal for her to go and dance with other people throughout the night. And I've actually had a friend who doesn't social dance ask me like, don't you get jealous? And I'm like, no, this is completely normal. So things like that is good. You learn to dress well. So if you remember that picture of me emceeing in my pajamas. 10 years later, I MC a swing dance event in Bangkok. And I'd like to think there was a bit of progression as to how I dress compared to the very first picture, because that's what social dance makes you do as well. You research the history. It's also an exercise. A lot of nerds obviously don't like to exercise, myself included, but social dance is good for cardio. You're jumping around. It's good for balance. It's good for coordination. It's also good for mentally to help you think on your feet about what moves you're going to do next, which helps when it comes to things like thinking on your feet when you're speaking in public like I'm doing now. It's also good for boosting your confidence. So I think a lot of nerds, they're good at what they do in terms of like, you study and you become good at something. And social dance is similar to that. You start taking the beginner's lesson, then you get good, you're more confident, you go and take the intermediate lesson, and then you can progress and you can start to teach or even compete. There's more things you can geek about as well, not just the dancing itself. When I got into swing dancing, I also got into DJing, so learning about the DJ equipments and all that. A friend of mine back in Bangkok who did swing dancing came up with a swing notation system. So a notation system almost like notes in music, but to track moves when they're dancing. One of the ultimate power fantasies for nerds is you want to go back to your reunion and show off to all your high school friends and all the girls who rejected you in school how cool you are now. So this is me not just dancing, but choreographing a dance at my friend's wedding. And that's also with all these moves that I learned throughout my years of social dancing. I'm not sure if any of the girls saw that and regretted not dating me, but that's not right. And finally, you get to be part of a community and you get to build a community. So it's not just showing up and dancing. So this is our swing dancing group at Phnom Penh. We also went into a Cambodian university to teach the students there to dance as well. So it gives you this opportunity to become part of the community. And if you're nerdy about certain things, there's always stuff for you to do in a dance community, whether it's DJing, programming, advertising, or just showing up to dance and showing up and having a good time. And I think after this talk, I hope you guys will be inspired, especially all the nerds out there, nerds and non-nerds, to give social dancing, whether it's swing or any other dance, a try. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Joey. That was a great deep dive into dancing. Have we got any questions for Joey? Yes. Okay, good. So thank you for the question. Social dancing can be an extreme sport during COVID times. It is very dangerous for you to come that close to a partner and do everything else. So given we are currently in a pandemic, right? I mean, look at us. What advice can you give to people to be able to dance and still be safe?
At the last swing social we did before COVID, what we did was we had a sign-up sheet. So people left their contact details. So on the off chance that someone actually contracted COVID, we could contact other people. What a lot of scenes around the world are doing now is that they're limiting how many people can join the class, and you have to sign up beforehand. So you leave your contact details. You also have things like hand sanitizers throughout. Some of the bigger scenes, what they do is you form pots. So you can only social dance with the same 5 or 6 people throughout the night. So things like that. And we're taking these things very seriously as well. But having been here and seeing how many people here, I think we're fine.
Great. Yes. So the question is that not everyone has amazing natural rhythm like you and I. However, and the question asker with the beard. However, for people who are learning and kind of struggle to pick up things, what advice would you tell them? Give yourself a little bit more time, give yourself a week, a month, a year, a decade, until the end of the pandemic, in 3 decades. What advice would you give them?
Well, as I mentioned, a lot of social dance, you have like a beginner's class. So if it's your very first time there, they'll teach you right from zero. So that would help if it's your first time. If you've got like the two left feet, so-called, there may be other things about the social dance that attract you to it. It might not just be about the dance itself. It might be the music. It might be the history. So even if you don't dance that well, there's still other things about the community that you can still be a part of and still try to learn and dance as well.
For example, he showed us that slide of when his fiancée was dancing with other people, and I think that's called, I can't remember if it's the swing club or the swingers club.
Oh.
Wah, wah. All right, any other questions? Yes. All right, so we have a question asking what is your signature move and how did you realize that that was going to be a signature move?
I think every dancer has their own kind of style. Some people are more like, yeah, I'm going to be cool, you know. Some people are more like the sexy type. I think I'm just more silly. So maybe I could show the group.
Oh, well, let's see.